Most people are waiting for happiness to arrive. A better job, more money, the right relationship. But neuroscience reveals something most people never learn. Happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's something your brain either learns to produce or slowly loses the ability to feel. And right now, millions of people are accidentally training their brains away from happiness without even realizing it. In this video, I will reveal 7 science-backed habits that literally rewire your brain toward happiness. Not the temporary kind that depends on circumstances. The deep, stable kind that stays even when life gets hard. This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't pretending everything is fine. This is understanding how your brain actually works, and using that knowledge to build a mind that defaults to calm, clarity, and genuine contentment. Here's what most people don't know. Your brain has a negativity bias. It's naturally wired to scan for threats, problems, and everything wrong. That wiring kept humans alive thousands of years ago. But in modern life, it keeps millions of people trapped in anxiety, comparison, and chronic dissatisfaction. The good news is that wiring is not permanent. Your brain changes based on what you repeatedly practice. So let's talk about how to practice happiness deliberately. Habit 1. Retrain what your brain pays attention to. Your brain builds your reality around whatever it focuses on most. If your mind is constantly rehearsing what went wrong, what you don't have, and what could go wrong next, your brain literally builds neural pathways around that pattern. And eventually that becomes your default mental state. Research in neuroplasticity shows that attention physically reshapes brain structure over time. So here's the habit. Every day, take 2 minutes to acknowledge 3 specific things that went right. Not vague gratitude. Specific moments. A conversation that felt good. A problem you solved. Something small that worked. When you consistently bring positive experiences into conscious focus, your brain starts noticing them automatically. Over weeks, your mind stops filtering out the good. Happiness isn't about having more. It's about training your brain to register what's already there. Habit 2. Stop outsourcing your mood. Most people's emotional state is completely controlled by external inputs. Good news arrives, they feel good. Bad news arrives, they fall apart. Someone is cold or dismissive, the whole day collapses. This is emotional reactivity. And when your inner state depends entirely on what's happening around you, happiness becomes unstable by design. Neuroscience shows that people with high emotional regulation report significantly higher baseline happiness. Not because their lives are easier. Because their nervous system isn't constantly swinging between highs and lows. The habit is simple. Before your phone, before the news, before anyone else's energy enters your mind, spend 5 minutes creating an internal state of calm. Breathe slowly. Sit quietly. Write one intention. This trains your nervous system to start from a regulated baseline instead of immediately reacting to whatever the world throws at it first. Over time, your happiness becomes less fragile. That is real emotional freedom. Habit 3. Use your body to change your brain. The connection between physical movement and mental happiness is one of the most well-documented findings in neuroscience, and one of the most consistently ignored. When you move your body, your brain releases dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, the same chemicals antidepressants attempt to regulate artificially. Movement also reduces cortisol, which is one of the primary biological reasons people feel mentally heavy and emotionally flat. You don't need extreme workouts. 20 to 30 minutes of consistent movement is enough to measurably shift brain chemistry. The key word is consistent. Daily movement practiced over weeks fundamentally changes how your brain processes emotion and stress. Move your body every day. Not for how it looks, for how it makes your brain feel. Habit 4. Protect your dopamine system. We have more entertainment and stimulation available than any generation in history. And yet anxiety, depression, and emotional emptiness are rising across every age group. The reason is dopamine dysregulation. Dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. It is the anticipation and motivation chemical. When it is constantly overstimulated by endless scrolling and non-stop notifications, your brain's baseline sensitivity drops. Real life, a conversation, a walk, a quiet moment, stops producing enough dopamine to feel satisfying. The habit is to deliberately create moments of low stimulation every day. Sit without a screen. Walk without audio. Let your mind exist in the present without entertainment. Within days of reducing unnecessary stimulation, something shifts. Calm returns. Focus sharpens. Ordinary moments start feeling meaningful again. Happiness requires a brain that can still feel things. Habit 5. Build something that matters to you. One of the most overlooked sources of genuine happiness is progress. Not an achievement. Not a rival. Progress. Neuroscience shows the brain's reward system activates most powerfully not at the moment of completion, but during the process of moving toward a meaningful goal. This is why people who are busy but purposeful report far higher happiness than people who are comfortable but directionless. Have at least one area of life where you are intentionally growing. A skill, a project, a physical goal. Something that requires effort and produces visible progress over time. That sense of directional momentum is deeply tied to how the human brain experiences meaning. And meaning is one of the strongest predictors of sustained happiness ever studied. Habit 6. Change your relationship with difficult emotions. Most people treat unhappy feelings as evidence that something is wrong with them, so they avoid them, suppress them, stay busy enough to never sit with them. But avoidance doesn't eliminate difficult emotions. It amplifies them over time. Research shows that the ability to process difficult emotions, to acknowledge them without being overwhelmed, is one of the strongest predictors of long-term psychological well-being. When a difficult feeling arises, pause for 60 seconds. Name what you're feeling. Notice where you feel it in your body. Breathe slowly. Don't try to fix it or force it away. Just acknowledge it. Practiced consistently, this trains your brain to process emotions rather than accumulate them. You become less afraid of your own internal experience, more stable through it. Happiness is not the absence of hard emotions. It is the ability to move through them without being defined by them. Habit 7. Invest deliberately in human connection. The longest-running study on human happiness ever conducted, the Harvard study of adult development spanning over 80 years, reached one clear conclusion above everything else. The quality of your relationships is the single strongest predictor of happiness and longevity. Not wealth, not an achievement, not intelligence, connection. And yet modern life is quietly eroding it. People have more social media contacts than any generation before them and simultaneously report higher rates of loneliness. Quality human connection triggers oxytocin, reduces cortisol, and produces a type of emotional regulation that no solo habit can fully replicate. Invest in at least one genuine human connection every week. A real conversation. Undivided attention. Presence without a screen in your hand. This is not soft advice. This is neuroscience. Your brain is a social organ. And neglecting that need comes at a measurable cost to your happiness. Your brain is not randomly happy or unhappy. It is responding to patterns, daily inputs, habits of thought. You cannot control every circumstance that enters your life, but you can control the internal environment you build through consistent daily habits. Retrain your attention. Regulate your nervous system. Move your body. Protect your dopamine. Build something meaningful. Process your emotions. Invest in real connection. Do these long enough, and happiness stops being something you chase. It becomes something your brain naturally returns to. If this gives you something worth thinking about, subscribe to Silent Growth and leave a like so this reaches someone who genuinely needs it.